There is one report to make at the outset. Yesterday at the ICJ in The Hague, the Netherlands, an election was held for the Chief Justice. Justice Yuji Iwaya from our country was elected as Chief Justice. I have just issued a foreign minister's statement to express my congratulations to him. The ICJ is the most authoritative justice institution in the international community. The role it plays for peaceful resolution of international disputes and maintaining and strengthening the rule of law in the international community is becoming increasingly larger. We wish Justice Iwaya's success as Chief Justice of the ICJ going forward, and Japan will cooperate with the positive development of the ICJ and actively continue to promote the rule of law and make contributions to that. That would be all.
So please proceed to the nearby microphone to ask a question. Satomi-san of Asahi Shimbun. This is Asami speaking. With regard to the sanctions about Russia against Japan, the Japanese government and the corporate employees, and 9 of them were announced to be banned from entry. And Foreign Minister Iwaya, you are included, and I would like to have your take on this. Former Foreign Minister Kishida was also banned from entry, and the Prime Minister Ishiba is excluded from the list at the moment. What's your take? And then in the announcement that you were also talking about the importance of a former islander's visit into the graveyard. What is going to be the impact on this kind of initiative? With regard to those initiatives, the Russian side replied it was in response to the sanctions imposed by Japan. However, the Japanese sanction measures were all caused by Russian invasion into Ukraine. Therefore, we cannot accept any action by Russia to pass on the responsibility into the Japanese side. Recently, we are going to express our position clearly. And with regard to the position by the government, our government, the situation with Russia is in a very severe situation. There are many pending issues that need to be addressed between the foreign authorities. Therefore, that would require communication with Russia. This has been disclosed and announced many times over. From that viewpoint as well, it is a regret that I was prohibited from entering Russia. Anyway, as far as our government position is concerned, we are going to pursue what is most effective in establishing fair and eternal peace in Ukraine. We are going to continue to collaborate closely with the G7 as well as the international community. And from the viewpoint of appropriate management of the bilateral relations, we will continue to communicate with the Russian side. In particular, with regard to Northern Territory visit program, I think this is one of the priorities for the bilateral relationship. As far as our government is concerned, the wishes of aged former islanders need to be prioritized. Therefore, the visit into the graveyard is going to be an important program that we need to prioritize, and we would like to ask the Russian side to resume that.
Nikkei Shimbun. Baba-san, Baba from Nikkei Shimbun. President Trump has instructed to temporarily suspend military aid to Ukraine. What is your comment on that? And under very severe security environment in East Asia, what is happening with Ukraine is not someone else's problem for Japan. So how do you intend to respond to this situation? with respect to the media report that you have mentioned, I am aware of it. At this moment, with respect to Ukraine, as you all know, there are many developments continuing in the international community. So as Japanese government, we are paying very close attention to it with great interest. But the situation is still fluid. So I think it's too premature to make a comment or to prejudge what is happening at this moment. At any rate, the international community is racking its brain to try to work towards a goal of achieving peace, which is not easy. So that a fair and durable peace is achieved for Ukraine at the earliest possible stage, all relevant parties need to take a concerted effort and to make tenacious endeavors. Diplomacy requires patience and thoughtfulness. As the Prime Minister said, I think we have to make patient and sincere efforts for sincere dialogue so that opinions can be converged. And I think Japan should play a role at that.
Yomiuri Shimbun. Uemura of Yomiuri Shimbun. The meeting between President Trump and President Zelensky was disrupted, and there was a support program announced by the UK and Germany and others. What is your take on the summit meeting between the US and Ukraine? What about the support to Ukraine? Is it going to be continued by the Japanese government? And what is going to be the size of the aid going forward? With regard to the spat between the United States and Ukraine, it was such a regret. That means we are not that pessimistic. As has already been mentioned, exploring peace is a very difficult task, not easy to achieve. Therefore, I think this is one piece of the whole process. Led by the U.S. initiative, the steering wheel is now being changed to. I hope that this is going to be turn out to be productive. Therefore, the international community should stay united. As already mentioned in the previous comment, we have to be patient and we have to exercise compassion so that the dialogue would continue. That is extremely important. And as far as our government is concerned, we would like to play a role that is expected on us. At the upcoming G7, the major agenda is going to be this issue with regard to Ukraine. Therefore, we are going to have a fruitful discussion. Going forward, how's our initiative going to be towards Ukraine? We are going to closely collaborate with the international community, and we are going to get involved in various fields. With regard to the size of the assistance, as far as this matter is concerned, we have to collaborate with the international community, and then we have to respond to the needs from Ukraine.
Kyoto Tsushin, Sakaguchi from Kyoto Tsushin. I have a question regarding U.S. tariffs. President Trump, local time 4th, Mexico, Canada, and China, for these countries, President Trump has said that it will impose tariffs and strengthen tariffs. And if that happens, there will inevitably be negative impact on automotive industry. How will Japan work to mitigate that? So President Trump or the U.S. government has made an announcement, and I am aware of that. We would like to scrutinize the impact of these measures taken by the U.S. government and respond to them appropriately. Soon, with the approval of the diet, Amenti Minister Muto will visit the U.S. To engage in talks with his counterpart. I understand Japan's national interest and U.S. national interest so that a win-win can be achieved for both. Having such consultations is going to be quite vital. And right now, coordination is underway along those lines.
Next question. IWJ. Thank you. My name is Hamamoto. As was captured in previous question, assistance and the policy toward Ukraine. The meeting between Trump and Zelensky came to disrupted, and then a coalition of the willing is going to expand support to Ukraine. What about Japan? I think the taxpayers should be persuaded with regard to the assistance given and to Ukraine, and the use of the assistance to Ukraine and should be scrutinized how the taxpayers' money is used. What is your take on this? The invasion by Russia into Ukraine, and this fact is something that is remote for us. Therefore, given that fact, I think the security of Europe and the security of Indo-Pacific is inseparable. And based on this premise, we have been talking about any actions by the unilateral actions by a force to change the status quo should not be tolerated. And from this viewpoint, we took our actions, especially sanctions against Ukraine. With regard to the future assistance to Ukraine, as I already mentioned, I think we have to consult with the other partner countries, and we have to respond to the specific needs from Ukraine. As you have correctly mentioned, the tax, we have to explain the meaning and the objective of our assistance and to the taxpayers. Not only this kind of press conference, but also seizing on different opportunities, including the deliberations in the National Diet, seizing on different opportunities to courteously explain the objective and to the taxpayers.
Uemura-san, Yomiuri Shimbun, go ahead. Uemura from Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. Thank you. With respect to ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, there's an idea that is raised for European countries to be involved in monitoring that. So having a one-month ceasefire over the air and to extend that ceasefire to the ground and have a peacekeeping force in Ukraine thereafter. That is what has been proposed by President Macron. Is there any plan for Japan to participate in that initiative or idea? So, as was said, with respect to Ukraine, in order to achieve peace, there have been many developments occurring within the international community. So we're having great interest and is gathering information and paying very close attention. So centering around the UK and France, it's been reported that a proposal is going to be put together and upon consultation that it is to be presented to the U.S. But the situation is still fluid. So with respect to the specific issues with respect to the idea, so a peacekeeping force, for example, because it's hypothetical, it's super mature to respond to such hypothetical questions with respect to the specifics. For the peace to be achieved so that the international community would not be divided, for the community to come up with ideas and opinions and to achieve a convergence of views. And Japan is committed to continuing its efforts and to play a role in that.
TBS, my name is Osaki. With regard to the bilateral relation with Korea, on May 1st, the acting President Choi Sam-mok made a speech on the ceremony. And on that occasion, on the 60th anniversary of the normalization of diplomatic relations, there should be a new chapter to be opened, emphasizing the importance of the bilateral relations. What is your take on the address given by the acting president? The acting president, in fact, personally, I had an occasion to meet with him when I was in Korea. On March 1st, in the ceremony, he expressed expectation on opening a new chapter with Japan on the 60th anniversary, and he also emphasized the importance of the cooperation between the two countries given the current international situation. Japan and the Republic of Korea should serve as partners to address various issues in the international community. In this global strategic environment and under the current international situation, there is no change to the importance of the bilateral relation. Rather, its importance is rising. Given under this recognition, I think the two countries should address various issues in partnership, including responses to the 60th anniversary of the diplomatic normalization. We would like to continue and to communicate closely with the Korean government.
Haraka-san of Sankei Shimbun, go ahead. Haraka from Sankei Shimbun, thank you. This is something that I asked about before in the press conference about the missing records of Japan DPRK diplomatic negotiation and the leakage of content. The cabinet decisions on this issue made today. The governments used to say that it would like to refrain from making comments in fear of impeding diplomacy, but with respect to the records of diplomatic negotiation, as Prime Minister Abe before said that there is no such records. There is no existence of such records. So here's my question. The fact that records do not exist would be an impediment to a future Japan DPRK diplomatic negotiation. And so what is your take on the missing records? And are you going to look into the causes as to why the records were not kept or went missing? And Director General Tanaka of the Asia Bureau, you could make an inquiry and ask him to present documents. Do you plan to do anything of that sort and respond to the situation? So in the answer to the question, Prime Minister Abe and Prime Minister Kishida have said that no records exist. So the cabinet decision made today reaffirmed that answer, stating that there are no records that exist. Of course, the answer given today is important, but the fact that prime ministers in the past have said that there are no records, and this time, we have sorted out the issue. In the last response, there was a general question about the existence of diplomatic negotiation, but given the response based on cabinet decision, because it could potentially impede future diplomatic negotiations between Japan and DPRK, the response was formulated. But what you asked about the question that was raised. Based on the question, we have looked into the intent of the questionnaire, and Prime Minister Abe and Prime Minister Kishida said that there are no records, and the question was to raise a question regarding that. So, based on the documents, we have meticulously put together an answer response saying that such records do not exist. So the government has confirmed that there are no records that exist. So we would like to refrain from going further to try to clarify this matter. And so we do not plan to ask any questions of Mr. Tanaka and others about this. If that would be all, we would like to conclude the press conference for today. Thank you.